फड़का।
MDH की देगी मीरज।
All right, welcome back. We're in the thick of things because voting in Maharashtra has started. 288 seats. It's been a very interesting election because if you've been watching nationally, it seems that the attention was more on the US election than the Maharashtra election. Why? There hasn't been a hot potato, hot topic issue. Even the politicians have been fishing around Bitcoin scams to come up with something. I don't know if there's an election fatigue in the country. We've gone from a massive general election into election in Haryana, now into Maharashtra. Delhi is coming up in a couple of months. Heck, who knows? UP might see an election early. We don't know what's going to happen in these places, but I can tell you what happens in Maharashtra is going to set the tone and tenor for what happens in places like UP and other places, because the BJP is trying to judge momentum. They lost a little bit of momentum in Lok Sabha. Nice upset in Haryana. I mean, that was a big ticket item. Ask Bhupinder Hooda, he was in a state of shock given what took place. But what is happening in Maharashtra? It's a confusing election. The results are unpredictable because no matter what the way the vote goes, who knows what government is going to form. Last time around, it should have been a BJP Shiv Sena government, period. But it wasn't. It became a BJP NCP something government. Then it became, within 3 days, an NCP Shiv Sena Congress government. Then 3 years later, Uddhav Thackeray Sandi woke up one morning and realized that half his MLAs have disappeared. They've all left. A man who's chief minister, who has an intelligence department reporting to him, didn't notice that half of his MLAs had vanished overnight. And the government fell. To Eknath Shinde's credit, he's held it together. But remember, Devendra Fadnavis has been chief minister. He wants to be chief minister again. How is that shaping up? We are having these marathon conversations in the studio, which are very interesting, but they only matter if they're educated with punctuations from the ground. So let's do that. Let's try to understand what people on the ground are talking. What are they saying? What are they thinking about? With the obvious caveats out there. So let's open this up. Daryl Miranda, my colleague, is standing by in Bandra East. Mahima is back with us from Nagpur. Anand Singh is meanwhile in Baramati. We want to speak to people, as many people as possible. So Daryl, I'm hoping you have people around you. They can give us a flavor of what they're thinking as they cast their votes. What's the issue?
So right now I'm just standing outside Bandra constituency, and as we can see, the people who have voted are coming out. We'll try to take their reactions. Sir, you have casted your vote. What is your what do you think are the main issues in these upcoming elections?
Can I talk later? I'm just lot of issues.
Any few issues? Address a few.
In this area, major issue is things getting redeveloped. Where are the ancillary staff going to shift to? That is a very big issue. So that is becoming an issue for people like us. So this is one of the major issues.
Do you think that the schemes which you introduced, like the Ladki Bahin, will benefit the government?
No freebies will benefit anybody. Very clear.
Okay. So, and the kind of politics which was going on the few days, what do you think? What are you expecting from it? Whose government are you expecting to come in the next?
No idea on that front. Thank you. No
What
comments.
appeal would you make to the people of Maharashtra?
Just come out and vote. That's it. Yeah.
So we can see that the people who have already voted are appealing to the people to come out and vote in large numbers, and we can see there are big queues outside the polling stations. From morning 7 a.m. the pollings have started in Mumbai, and it will go up to in the evening till 6 p.m. and you can see there are big queues outside. The place where I'm standing right now here.
Because
point,
we love to
Uddhav
hear the people speaking up. So one voter there, it is anecdotal, but for him Dharavi redevelopment is the biggest issue. Okay, read between the lines. Interesting one over there. This is a constituency, Bandra East, where Zishan Siddiqui, who's the incumbent, all right, who has literally gone through an assassination in the family last month, is being taken on by Varun Sardesai of the Shiv Sena UBT. Zishan Siddiqui should win this, right? He should take it, hold on to that seat. But remember, Zishan Siddiqui has joined the NCP, and this is the NCP of Ajit Pawar. So keep try to follow along. Even I'm trying to follow along with what's going on. Let me use the opportunity to hop back to Nagpur, where Mahima is standing by. Mahima, we've had another hour has passed. More people are gathered around you. What are they talking about in terms of issues in Nagpur?
Absolutely, Rishabh. We will talk about the ground reality here. We have people around us. We'll start with what exactly is the mood. Sir, किन मुद्दों पे आज आप वोट कर रहे हैं?
सर, हम लोग जो वोट कर रहे हैं मैडम, ये यहाँ पे ओनली एंड ओनली डेवलपमेंट, क्योंकि नागपुर शहर में पिछले 10 सालों में जो डेवलपमेंट चालू है और जो डेवलपमेंट हो रहा है, ये काफ़ी तेज इससे हो रहा है। अभी इस चुनाव में भी लोग जो वोट्स कर रहे हैं वो सिर्फ डेवलपमेंट पे ही कर रहे हैं, क्योंकि हमारा ये जो एरिया है, ये एरिया का पिछले 5 साल पहले ये हालत थी कि यहाँ रास्ते नहीं थे, पानी की समस्या थी, सीवरेज लाइन नहीं थी, लोगों को काफ़ी सारे परेशानियों से जूझना पड़ता था। पर अभी पिछले 5 सालों में यहाँ जो काम हुआ है और यहाँ जो अभी भी काम चल रहा है, ये डेवलपमेंट का वर्क काफ़ी बड़े पैमाने पर चल रहा है।
सर, मैं आपसे भी पूछूंगी, किन मुद्दों पे आप वोट करेंगे?
जो विकास किया है हम उस मुद्दे में वोटिंग करेंगे।
विकास के मुद्दे पे?
हाँ, विकास के।
सर, आप किन मुद्दों पे वोट किए?
भारत ये हिंदू राष्ट्र है और महाराष्ट्र भी हिंदू राष्ट्र है। हम चाहते हैं कि हिंदुओं की रक्षा हो। जिस प्रकार से अमरावती में हुआ है वो हमारे नागपुर में नहीं होना चाहिए, इसलिए हम लोग ये जुटे हैं कि हिंदू राष्ट्र बनना चाहिए और भारतीय जनता पार्टी महायुति की सरकार आनेगी।
सर, आपके क्या मुद्दे रहेंगे? सर ने कहा कि हिंदू राष्ट्र बनना चाहिए, आपका क्या मुद्दा रहेगा? डेवलपमेंट हो गया, विकास हो गया, इन्होंने कहा हिंदू राष्ट्र, आपका क्या रहेगा?
उनका कहना 100% सही है। राष्ट्रहित सर्वोपरि। मुझे लगता है जिस प्रकार से राष्ट्र में, पूरे देश में एक प्रकार से जात पात धर्म का वातावरण चल रहा है, लोगों ने सोचना चाहिए। और विकास तो चल ही रहा है, पर विकास होने के बाद में आपकी सुरक्षा भी उतनी मजबूत होनी चाहिए। जैसा कहा है, अमरावती में जिस प्रकार से नवनीत राणा पे वो हल्ला हुआ है, उस मुद्दे पर लोगों ने सोचना चाहिए कि अपनी सुरक्षा कैसी हो। जिनके हाथ में अपनी सुरक्षा है, जैसी अपनी सरकार चुननी चाहिए कि जिन्होंने अपनी सुरक्षा करनी चाहिए। और राष्ट्र सर्वोपरि ये कहकर ही विकास होगा। राष्ट्र की चिंता करने वाली मुझे लगता है आज समाज में एक ही पार्टी है, वो भारतीय जनता पार्टी।
सर, आप किन मुद्दों पर वोट कर रहे हैं? क्या
डेवलपमेंट पे?
डेवलपमेंट पे।
हाँ।
तो अभी क्या लगता है कि नागपुर में क्या कुछ ऐसे चेंजेस आने चाहिए, क्योंकि डेवलपमेंट लगातार होता नजर आ रहा है? सर ने बोला था कि अभी डेवलपमेंट जो है वो हो रहा है, तो क्या और कुछ नागपुर में होना चाहिए?
और चेंजेस होने को ना है, और एम्प्लॉयमेंट पे भी काम होने को ना, बेरोजगार
पे भी काम होना है। सर, मैं आपसे भी पूछना चाहूँगी, किन क्या मुद्दे रहेंगे आप?
हाँ, थैंक यू मैडम। आपने मुझे पूछा, विकास तो बहुत हुआ है, मगर ये पर्यावरण का भी ख्याल रखना चाहिए। अभी जो बारिश हुई थी तेज़, ये सीमेंट रोड एकदम ऊंचे हो गए, लोगों के घर नीचे चले गए, इतना पानी घुसा, हमारे घर में भी पानी घुसा था, मगर कॉरपोरेशन ने अभी तक कुछ भी मुआवजा या आगे झांक के भी देखे नहीं। और ये आगे पीछे वाले ऐसे बांधकाम कर रहे हैं कि गटर लाइन पे जो घर बना लिए उन्होंने, हमारे घर में भी पानी घुस रहा। तो ये भी बातें ध्यान में होना चाहिए। और
मूल मुद्दे रहेंगे।
हाँ, ये मूल मुद्दे रहेंगे और जो ये बातें करेगा हम उसी को वोट करेंगे।
सर, आपके क्या मुद्दे रहेंगे? मैं आपसे पूछूं।
हमारे मुद्दे विकास के ऊपर रहेंगे। हमने जो
क्या और डेवलपमेंट होनी चाहिए? नागपुर में आई हूँ, मैंने देखा काफ़ी अच्छी रोड है, सफाई बहुत अच्छी है, तो क्या कुछ और खास डेवलपमेंट यहाँ पे आप नागपुर के हित में सोच रहे हैं कि और कैसी डेवलपमेंट होनी चाहिए?
नहीं, और कुछ एरिया में यानी डेवलपमेंट होने का है, तो डेवलपमेंट यानी हो रहा है अभी, और हमारे आमदार यानी अच्छा डेवलपमेंट कर रहे हैं।
मैडम, एजुकेशन में भी नागपुर में काफ़ी अच्छा डेवलपमेंट हो रहा है। यहाँ पे बड़े बड़े इंस्टीट्यूट्स है, अभी भी 2 नए इंस्टीट्यूट चालू हो रहे हैं। तो नागपुर जैसा पुणे, मुंबई, बेंगलोर, ये जो एजुकेशनल हब है, ये पुणे, मुंबई, बेंगलोर जैसा ही अभी नागपुर एक एजुकेशनल हब हो रहा है। तो नागपुर के बच्चे जो पढ़ाई के लिए बाहर जाते हैं, ये अभी नेक्स्ट आने वाले सेशन से ये नागपुर से बाहर नहीं जाएंगे।
सर, मैं आपसे भी पूछूंगी, क्या मुद्दे हैं आपके?
मुद्दे तो बहुत सारे थे और सब सारे सवाल भी हो गए हैं। इतना डेवलप हो गया नागपुर में कि बहुत सारा डेवलप हो गया है, सब तरफ में सुविधा ही सुविधा हुई है।
तो अभी क्या मुद्दा रहेगा, किस मुद्दे पे वोट करेंगे?
अभी मुद्दा तो यही है कि और डेवलप होना चाहिए, और डेवलप होना चाहिए। जैसा बाकी शहरों में हुआ वैसा नागपुर में भी और डेवलप होना चाहिए।
सर, मैं आपके पास भी आऊँगी, क्या आपके मुद्दे रहेंगे, किन मुद्दों पर वोट?
हाँ, अभी तो नागपुर में अच्छा काफ़ी सारा डेवलपमेंट तो हुआ ही है, बाकी एजुकेशनल हब भी हुआ है, अभी जो है नागपुर में अभी यानी विदर्भ के स्पेसिफिक बात करेंगे तो इंडस्ट्रियल डेवलपमेंट होना चाहिए, क्योंकि इंडस्ट्री ज़्यादा होने से वजह से यहाँ के जो लोग रोजगार लोग हैं विदर्भ के लोगों को, कि जैसे मैक्सिमम लोग जैसे पुणे मुंबई बेंगलोर चले जाते हैं आईटी हब के कारण, तो यहाँ पे न होने के कारण यहाँ पे थोड़ा सा ये है, बट आने वाले समय पे मुझे लगता है 100% हो ही जाएगा।
सर आपके क्या
मुद्दा मैंने बता दिया था, लेकिन लोगों में इतना अवेयरनेस आया है कि लोग आज 7 बजे से लाइन में लग के मतदान कर रहे हैं। लोगों को पता है कि जो विकास कर रहे हैं वो विकास की सरकार हमेशा और कंटिन्यू चलेंगी, इसलिए लोग सवेरे से मतदान के लिए लाइन में खड़े हैं।
So clearly, Rishabh, you see the mood on the ground. People are much aware and they are ready to vote on the basis of development. Some are stating that the issue is education. Some are stating to be the industrial development. And now if we talk about the industrial development, Rishabh, it has been a major issue or the point of contention between the Mahayuti and the Maha Vikas Aghadi when we talk about the BJP versus Congress, because Congress has always quoted, unquoted that there were majorly main projects that have been taken away from Maharashtra and have been given to the Gujarat. But
Yes.
Wherein if we speak about Devendra Fadnavis to these allegations, Devendra Fadnavis has completely denied and stated that there have been a lot of projects that have been brought in Maharashtra and Maharashtra is on the verge of development. So nonetheless, development,
Okay.
Hindu Rashtra and education revolves around the issue
Okay,
when
so
people are casting
either
their
what
vote.
has
Yes.
happened is that Narendra Modi has actually changed the conversation in politics so much that people are talking about development only. Okay, so what you've not heard from a whole bunch of people Mahima has spoken to, you've not really heard talked about identity, about religion, about caste, about some political issue. You've not heard them talking about whether they are in fans of Modi or not fans of Modi. They're all talking about Vikas. Now you can judge for yourself what that means and who they're voting for. To me, it seems like Nagpur is voting pro-incumbent from the anecdotal evidence of the people that Mahima has spoken to. Now some of those people can be political workers, so it can be a biased sampling. We don't know, but that's where it seems to be. And it's a very strange election that way. I'm not seeing an overarching theme. It doesn't seem to be the old formulas of the Marathi identity card, because is it about reservation which the Supreme Court has struck down? Is it about caste identity? Don't know. There's a confusion in politics as well. We mentioned where in Bandra, Daryl is standing. Zishan Siddiqui, whose father was killed last month, brutally killed last month, was a congressman. He is now with the NCP, but the NCP of Ajit Pawar, not Sharad Pawar. Really confusing. And speaking of the confusion, hop across to Baramati, where the nephew of Sharad Pawar is contesting against his own nephew. It's a fascinating battle. Let's try to hear people. Now, some of them indeed might be political workers, but let's try to see what they're saying. Back to Anand. Anand, what are people around you saying?
Yeah, we will try to speak to some of the people over here who have gathered at the voting center, Rishabh, and we will understand what's the mood over here. Sir, शरद पवार जी ने आखिरी दिन यहाँ पर एक आह्वान किया था, युवा को खड़े कर रहे हैं, युवा को मौका मिलना चाहिए, क्योंकि यहाँ की जो बैटल है काफी हाई स्टेक वाली बैटल है. एक तरफ अजीत पवार है तो दूसरी तरफ योगेंद्र पवार है, दोनों पवार फैमिली से आते हैं. क्या कहना है आपका?
नहीं, ऐसा फाइट वगैरह कुछ नहीं है, ये सिर्फ क्रिएट किया गया है. और युवा तो क्या, पहले तो अजित दादा को यही खड़े करते थे ना, तो अभी क्या फर्क हो गया? अजित दादा तो पिछले टाइम पे उन्होंने खड़ा किया था, अभी 2 साल में अजित दादा थोड़ी सी बुढ़े हो गए. वो भी तो युवा आप सब लोगों का विकास कर रहे हैं, विकास के साथ में काम कर रहे हैं, और बारामती तालुका का सब लोग जो है विकास के साथ में काम करेगा. अच्छी तरह से बारामती तालुका का जो कॉन्स्टिट्यूंसी का विकास किया है, और जो केंद्र की सरकार है, राज्य की सरकार है, वो दोनों साथ में काम करेंगे तो बहुत अच्छा विकास हो सकता है महाराष्ट्र का, हमारा कॉन्स्टिट्यूंसी का, डिस्ट्रिक्ट का.
We'll go to some more people over here. सर, आपने आज सुबह सुबह वोटिंग की है, क्या मुद्दे थे इस बार चुनाव में यहाँ पे? क्योंकि फिर से लोकसभा चुनाव के बाद पवार वर्सेस पवार का बैटल यहाँ खास तौर पे बारामती में देखा जा रहा है, और ये काटियावाड़ी की पोलिंग बूथ है जहाँ से अजीत पवार खुद आते हैं. तो क्या मुद्दे हैं यहाँ
के मुद्दे विकास के मुद्दे हैं सब. जो भी अभी विधानसभा का जो चुनाव हो रहा है, तो अभी दादा के साथ ही रहेंगे सब काटियावाड़ी के लोग, और वो विकास जो दादा ने 35 साल से किया है और आगे भी वो विकास करेंगे, इसके लिए हम दादा के साथ हैं.
शरद पवार जी ने कहा कि एक युवा को फिर से वो आगे ला रहे हैं, तो इस पे आपको क्या कहना है?
ठीक है, युवा को लाने का जो पवार साहब ने वो किया है, लेकिन वो क्या है, दादा का जो एक्सपीरियंस है उसकी वजह से जो अभी विकास हो रहा है तो वो लोग सब उनके पीछे है.
So we'll go to some more people over here and try to understand. काफी इंटरेस्टिंग बैटल हो गई है लोकसभा चुनाव के बाद यहाँ पर. तो क्या लगता है इस बार लड़ाई किस तरह से है, क्योंकि फिर से परिवार के ही लोग आमने सामने हैं लोकसभा चुनाव की तरह.
परिवार के लोग आमने सामने हैं, ये बात सच्ची है, लेकिन परिवार में ऐसा कोई झगड़ा नहीं है. जो लोग सोचते हैं उसी तरह की ऐसी कोई बात नहीं है परिवार में. एक तरफ ही अजित पवार चुन के आएंगे और वो लाखों वोटों से लेके चुन के आएंगे. बात यह है कि अजित पवार साहब ने जब पवार साहब असेंबली में चले गए, उनके पीछे जो इस परिसर का जो विकास हुआ वो बहुत जलद गति से हो गया. सभी क्षेत्रों में अजित पवार ने बहुत अच्छा काम किया. समाज से उनका
मगर शरद पवार जी कह रहे हैं कि एक युवा को वो आगे लाए हैं तो उसको भी आप समर्थन दीजिए. कहीं ना कहीं अपील कर रहे हैं वो अजीत पवार के अगेंस्ट में. तो परिवार की लड़ाई जो है अब इलेक्टोरल पॉलिटिक्स में दिख रही है यहाँ पे फिर से.
ऐसी कोई बात नहीं. उनके परिवार में तो और कोई युवा है तो अकेले वही योगेंद्र दादा ही है. उनके परिवार में उनके भाई बच्चे हैं ना, भाई के बच्चे हैं. फिर अकेले को आगे करके ऐसा कौन सा काम करने का है पवार साहब को? अजित पवार साहब को भी पवार साहब ने आगे लाया था, उनको काम करने को उन्होंने ही चुना था. फिर अभी ऐसी कौन सी दिक्कत हो गई कि वो अभी अजित पवार साहब को अलग रख के योगेंद्र को आगे लेके जा रहे? और योगेंद्र वहाँ के ऐसी कौन सी जादू करेगा जो विकास के बारे में उनको बहुत आगे बढ़ना है. कम से कम इसी तरह का सोचेंगे तो 20 बरस गांव पीछे जाएगा.
So we'll try to understand some more issues over here. सर, क्या मुद्दे थे इस बार चुनाव में आप लोगों के?
हाँ, विकास के मुद्दे थे और उस हिसाब से विकास का जो भी काम किया है वो दादा ने परिपूर्ण किया है. और दादा के काम करने का जो स्टाइल है वो किसी और काम नहीं कर सकती. वो भी
पिछले 5-10 साल की अगर हम बात करें तो किस तरह से विकास हुआ बारामती का, और क्या लगता है और भी किन चीजों पे सरकार का यहाँ फोकस होना चाहिए? जो आपके प्रतिनिधि चुन कर जाएंगे असेंबली में, उनको क्या काम यहाँ करने चाहिए बारामती में खास तौर पे, क्योंकि ये एक बहुत ही हॉट सीट बन गई है. परिवार की लड़ाई फिर से आ चुकी है सामने. लोकसभा चुनाव में भी देखा था हमने जब सुप्रिया सुले सुनेत्रा पवार जी के सामने खड़ी थी, और इस बार योगेंद्र पवार खड़े हैं अजित पवार के सामने. उप मुख्यमंत्री हैं अजित पवार महाराष्ट्र के.
वो जो सुप्रिया ताई उस टाइम में सुनीत्रा ताई खड़े थे, उस समय में वो सुप्रिया ताई को हमने ऊपर ले लिया. अभी जो समय है वो दादा का है, वो दादा के लिए ही हम काम करेंगे, क्योंकि ये समय दादा का जो इधर का प्रगति का है वो दादा ही करते हैं. बारामती में बहुत सारा सुविधा दादा की वजह से हो गए हैं. उससे पहले सुविधा नहीं, 60 साल में कुछ सुविधा नहीं थी, वो भी सब दादा ने किया है.
So, Rishabh, you heard the people over here clearly. This is the Kathiawadi place where the polling booth of Ajit Pawar comes, and this is his home turf. So clearly, people here are mentioning
that short while after he's voted, that a few of his supporters are still hanging around outside. No big surprises there. As in fact, Anand was reporting in a different polling booth in Baramati, of course, Supriya Sule cast her vote along with her family, and she's hoping that her nephew, cousin wins, other than her other cousin wins. It's a bit confusing, and I'm surprised that the villagers, and it's a rural constituency, are not sick of it. They have been under the patronage of Sharad Pawar, but surely the family fight benefits no one, especially if the family fight is unpredictable. Who knows Sharad Pawar and his nephew and the nephew's nephew? Yeah, that's what it actually is. The nephew's nephew actually then reunite, and then who knows what happens. Really confusing. And I'm trying to actually unconfuse it given what is going on in the elections in Maharashtra. Let me open up this conversation to our guests now, because we got a flavor of what's happening on the ground. And what is happening from the ground on the reporters speaking to people, voters since early this morning, as they have been over the past several days, it seems to be confusing. I have not been able to whiff off an overarching theme. This is not a personality contest, so it is not simply Fadnavis versus Pawar or Modi versus Rahul. It is a localized election which is going to be fought constituency by constituency. The election result is unpredictable, and what happens after the result is also unpredictable, because last time it should have been a BJP Shiv Sena government, but as I've been pointing out to you, it instead became a Devendra Fadnavis, Ajit Pawar 1.5 2-day government, then an Ajit Pawar who got sworn in as Deputy Chief Minister twice in 3 days but from opposing sides. So if that wasn't confusing enough, well, here we are 5 years later, where the Shiv Sena is actually being led by somebody else who did not notice that an Uddhav Thackeray as Chief Minister, despite having the intelligence reporting to him, had half his MLAs vanish overnight. Believe it or not, all sorts of things. Let's listen to Supriya Sule before I open this up to our guests.
काय प्रश्न आहे मी उत्तर देते सांगा. इलेक्शन म्हणजे हा एका लोकशाहीचा उत्सव असतो. तो शांततेच्या मार्गाने पारदर्शकपणे व्हावा असा सगळ्यांचाच प्रयत्न असतो. मी इलेक्शन कमिशन, पोलीस यंत्रणा या सगळ्यांचे आभार मानते की त्यांनी खूप तयारी ह्याची केलेली आहे आणि दिवसभरात ते शांततेच्या मार्गाने व्हावं एवढीच विनंती करते. आणि प्रत्येक मतदाराला विनंती करते की त्यांनी जरूर मतदान करावं. आता 23 तारखेला कळेल ना. एक मिनिट. 5 प्रश्न मला काल भारतीय जनता पक्षाने केलेत. 5. पहिला उत्तर देते. पहिला प्रश्न त्याचा आरोप आहे नाही 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 नाही. माझा एकतर ती ऑडिओ क्लिप मध्ये माझा आवाज नाही, कोणी चेक करावं. एक. दुसरा, माझा या कुठल्याही संबंधात नाही. आणि काय त्यांचं नाव त्रिवेदी ना, त्रिवेदींनी अशी मला सांगितलं की सुप्रिया सुळेंनी बाहेर येऊन यावं. मी काल रात्रीच बाहेर आले आणि आज तुमच्या माध्यमातून अतिशय विनम्रपणे मी त्रिवेदीजींना विनंती करते की ते म्हणेल ती जागा, ते म्हणेल ते चॅनल, ते म्हणतील तो कॅमेरा, ते म्हणतील ते शहर, तिथे मी येऊन मन मोकळेपणे ते स्वतः किंवा त्यांच्या पक्षाचा कुठल्याही व्यक्तीशी माझी जबाब द्यायला माझी तयारी आहे.
यातले जे आहेत रवींद्रनाथ पाटील त्यांनी सुद्धा तोच आरोप केला की नाना पटोले आणि
एक मिनिट, रवींद्र पाटील कोण आहेत? हा, रवींद्र पाटील एक IPS ऑफिसर आहेत आणि तुमच्याच सगळ्यांच्या चॅनलवर असं सांगण्यात आलं की 2 वर्ष ते जेलमध्ये राहून आले. बरोबर? 2 वर्ष ते गृहस्थ जेलमध्ये राहून आलेले आहेत. त्यांनी काही माझ्यावर आरोप केलेले आहेत. एक खोटी ऑडिओ क्लिप माझ्या आवाजातली त्याच्यात आहे. त्याची मी सायबर क्राईमला कालच कंप्लेंट दिली आहे. तुम्हाला ती कंप्लेंटची कॉपी मिळाली आहे का? हां. तर काल संध्याकाळी माझ्याकडे जेव्हा ती क्लिप मीडियाच्या माध्यमातून आली, मी त्याचं एक कंप्लेंट ही सायबर क्राईमला केलेली आहे. पहिला मुद्दा, त्याची तुम्हाला कोणाला कॉपी हवी असेल तर मी ट्विट केलेली आहे. पहिला मुद्दा. दुसरा मुद्दा की मी ते झाल्याच अमितेश कुमार हे जे पुण्याचे कमिशनर ऑफ पोलीस आहेत त्यांना मी फोन केला, 2 वेळा फोन केला. दोन्ही वेळा आमचं बोलणं झालं. मी त्यांना काय प्रॉब्लेम हे सांगितलेलं आहे. मी त्यांना एवढीच विनंती केली की बाबा माझा आवाज कोणीतरी काढून हे करतंय, मला न्याय मिळावा. त्यामुळे त्यांनी मला शब्द दिलेला आहे की ताई ते सगळं माझ्याकडे पाठवा, मी जरूर त्याच्यातून जे खरं असेल ते बाहेर येईल. हा मुद्दा. एक मिनिट. अर्थातच AI जनरेटर माझा संबंधच नाही आहे काही. आणि तुमच्या माहितीसाठी सांगते, क्रिप्टो आणि बिटकॉइन आणि या सगळ्याच गोष्टींवर पार्लमेंटमध्ये सगळ्यात जास्त विरोधात कोण बोललं असेल तर ते मी बोललेले. हां, आज बरं झालं. तर आता एक मी पटकन एक क्रोनॉलॉजी घेते म्हणजे तुम्हाला पण कन्फ्युजन नको. एक ती फेक माझ्याबद्दलची फेक बातमी आली. ती बातमी आल्या मी क्रोनॉलॉजी सांगते तुम्हाला. काल संध्याकाळी माझ्याकडे ती फेक बातमी आली. मी फेक बातमी आल्या लगेच मी पोलीस कमिशनरला फोन केला, ऑनलाईन सायबर क्राईमला कंप्लेंट केली काल संध्याकाळी. त्याचबरोबर तो प्रोसेस झाला, माझ्यासाठी तो विषय संपला. त्याच्यानंतर तुमचे सगळ्यांचे फोन आले, त्याच्याशी मी बोलले. 10:30 का 11 वाजता भारतीय जनता पक्षाने दिल्लीला एक प्रेस कॉन्फरन्स घेतली. मला 5 प्रश्न विचारले. त्या 5ही प्रश्नासाठी मी ते म्हणतील ती जागा, ते म्हणतील ते चॅनल, ते म्हणतील त्या प्लॅटफॉर्ममध्ये कुठेही श्री त्रिवेदी किंवा त्यांच्या कुठल्याही सहकार्याशी मी कुठेही बसायला तयार आहे. कारण काय, हे हास्यास्पद आहे हे सगळे आरोप. तो पहिला मुद्दा. त्याच्यानंतर मी माझ्या वकिलांना रात्री फोन केला आणि आज सकाळी मी एक क्रिमिनल डेफमेशनची नोटीस ही त्यांना पाठवलेली आहे.
मतदानाच्या आदल्या दिवशी
टायमिंग कसं काय?
बघा, तुमच्या प्रश्नातच माझं उत्तर आहे. एक तर मी पुन्हा डिनाय करते की 5ही गोष्टी खोट्या आहेत. तो ना माझा आवाज आहे. आणि बिटकॉइन क्रिप्टो ह्याच्या सगळ्यात जास्त विरोधात मी पार्लमेंटमध्ये बोलले. मी त्या प्रोसेस, त्या प्रक्रियेबद्दल मी प्रश्नचिन्ह केलं आहे. ज्या प्रक्रियेबद्दल मी सातत्याने, आणि डेटा स्पीक्स लाउडर दॅन वर्ड्स ना. तुम्ही ते अजित पवार आहे, ते काहीही बोलू शकतात. रामकृष्णारी. आता भारतीय जनता पक्षाला तुम्हाला विचार लागेल. आरोप, खोटा आरोप भारतीय जनता पक्षाने केलाय. मी त्याची कंप्लेंट केलेली आणि पोलीस यंत्रणेला केली आहे. त्याच्यानंतर मी डेफमेशन केलेलं आहे. त्याच्यामुळे ते जनरेट कुठून झालं, कोणी तो क्रिएट केला, हा प्रश्न त्याला बघायला लागेल. म्हणजे तुम्ही पाहिलं का नाही मला माहिती नाही, पण 1 आठवड्यापूर्वी सुधा मूर्तींचं असं झालं होतं. सुधा मूर्तींचा एक व्हिडिओ ज्याच्यात लिप आणि आवाज ह्याच्यात करून की तुम्ही इन्व्हेस्टमेंट करा वगैरे अशा काही व्हिडिओ आला होता. त्याच्यात त्यांनी क्लॅरिफिकेशन देऊन सांगितलं हे फेक आहे. त्याच्यामुळे दुर्दैव आहे की तंत्रज्ञान जेव्हा येतं तेव्हा तंत्रज्ञानाचा गैरवापर करणारी काही लोक असतात. तर आता मी केस केलेली आहे आणि माझा महाराष्ट्राच्या पोलिसांवर पूर्ण विश्वास आहे. महाराष्ट्राचे पोलीस मला न्याय देतील. नाही, व्हॉइस, आता आवाज तो कोणी जनरेट केला आहे हे पोलिसांना शोधून काढावं लागेल ना. कारण का ना तो नाना पटोलेंचा आवाज आहे ना माझा आवाज आहे. त्याच्यामुळे अर्थातच कोणी हे जे AI जनरेटेड गोष्टी करतात, या AI जनरेटेड कुठून होत आहेत ह्याचा पोलिसांनी त्याचा शोध घ्यावा. एवढी त्याची कंप्लेंट मी ऑलरेडी केली.
त्यावेळेस जे सगळं स्कॅम बाहेर आलं त्यावेळेस आपलं तत्कालीन पोलीस आयुक्त अमिताभ गुप्ता यांच्याशी काही बोलणं झालं होतं का?
नाही. एक तर अमिताभ गुप्तांना मी अनेक वर्ष ओळखते. याचं कारण असं, अमिताभ गुप्तांची मुलं आणि माझी मुलं एकाच शाळेत गेलेली आहेत. असे अनेक पोलीस, कलेक्टर असे अनेक आहेत ज्यांना मी कामामुळे ओळखते. आणि हे तर महाराष्ट्राचं कल्चरच आहे की आम्ही नेहमी ज्या ज्या व्यक्तींवर आम्ही काम केलं, एक अमिताभ गुप्ता कशाला, किती नावं तुम्हाला घेऊन जाऊ, की किती पोलीस अधिकारी असतील, कलेक्टर असतील, सेक्रेटरीज असतील, जॉईंट सेक्रेटरीज असतील, तहसीलदार असेल, तलाठी असेल, या सगळ्यांना आम्ही ओळखतो. आम्ही पब्लिक लाईफमध्ये आहोत आणि कुठे ना कुठे सगळ्यांचा संबंध येतो. आणि अमिताभ गुप्ताची तर माझी मुलं एका शाळेत होती. आता म्हणजे आता काय, देवेंद्र फडणवीसांची मुलगी आजच्याच शाळेत आहे जिथे माझी मुलं शिकतात. असं होत नाही, शाळेत ओळखी होतात. आणि अर्थातच
Okay, you've been listening into an unusually verbose Supriya Sule, not often given to speaking for so long outside a polling booth, but she was being questioned there about this audio clip that is surfaced regarding some Bitcoin, and she basically said that, listen, if Sudha Murthy's voice can be AI generated, so can mine. I filed a complaint. I've opposed crypto in parliament. What are you talking about? What nonsense is all of this? She, of course, is not a candidate. She's already won from the constituency of Baramati by more than 2 lakh votes, where she beat Ajit Pawar's wife Sunitara Pawar just 3-4 months ago to hang on to this seat. But this time Ajit Pawar is contesting himself. Let's open up this conversation. Joining us now on the broadcast, we have Suresh Nakhwa representing the BJP, Pooja Tripathi of the Congress, Mahesh Chavan of the NCP Sharad Pawar faction, Sumit Peer, Joyita Basu, the editor of the Sunday Guardian, Gautam Mukherjee joining us all on the broadcast. Let me start with Suresh Nakhwa ji. Suresh ji, how's this going? Because if I just take you back 5 years ago, we were sitting at the results of the election expecting a BJP Shiv Sena government. We have subsequently seen utter chaos in the elections in the electoral politics of Maharashtra. So how do you expect it to go this time around?
Rishabh ji, good morning. Jai Maharashtra. First of all, just like you and me, even the voters of Maharashtra voted for a BJP Shiv Sena government, and which was comfortable in numbers as the result showed. But BJP was backstabbed by personal ambitions of one of the so-called leaders, and that was the reason that leader went against wishes of Shri Adarniya Balasaheb Thackeray and sat in the laps of Congress and NCP Sharad Pawar. And we know the way at that time, 2.5 years the government was run. Sadhus were lynched in Palghar. People were picked up from their houses and put in jail even for tweets. If you remember, a former armed forces officer was literally lynched by people, by the ruling party leaders. There are many cases. So it's very clear from Maharashtra. Maharashtra is bringing back the Mahayuti government. This is Balasaheb Thackeray's Maharashtra. This is Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj Maharashtra, and BJP Shiv Sena government is coming back.
Okay, but Suresh Nakrawa, the basic issue here is that you as the Bharatiya Janata Party, sat down in Maharashtra and then decided by hook or by crook you are going to try to demolish the existing Marathi parties, that you are going to cause a split in the Shiv Sena, cause a split in the NCP. Now, here you are, sir, 5 years later being judged for that. Did you do this?
I totally dispute the comment made by me. We sat in the Maharashtra. We are the largest single party in Maharashtra. Number two, the parties Shiv Sena crumbled due to its own internal problems. I mean, when Balasaheb's wishes were not honored, when Anand Dighe's wishes were not honored, obviously the party is going to split. The way Shiv Sena leaders, the original Karyakartas, original Shiv Seniks were treated by parachuted leaders, this was bound to happen. And similarly with NCP. So they had their own problems. They broke down on their own compulsions. And you can just compare, you have now seen both the governments for 2.5 years each. You can compare the tenures. All the infrastructure projects were halted. If you remember Metro 3, RA Shed, that protests were going on. Everything was on standstill. But now, in last 2.5 years, the Maharashtra has started moving again, and now it's going.
Okay, quick question before I get Pooja Tripathi of the Congress in. What happened 4 months ago in Maharashtra? Because out of 48 seats, the BJP ended up getting in single digits. What went wrong? Why only 9 seats, sir?
We have already introspected on this, and we have worked on it, and we will come back. We are not a party which keeps on launching and relaunching and relaunching and relaunching and relaunching. One of the Congress leaders has lost something like 88 elections. He's just 12 short of a century. I wish him he completes his century very soon.
Okay, all right. Let me get Pooja Tripathi of the Congress in on this. Pooja ji, if we go by momentum, you can argue that, listen, momentum is with you. You did a bit of an upset in Maharashtra just 3-4 months ago, and despite the fact that the Shiv Sena was torn apart, despite the fact that Sharad Pawar's family was torn apart, you guys held the fort. But we've had a big upset in Haryana in the intervening few months. So is it looking a bit dicey for you in Maharashtra?
Haryana was a big upset, Rishabh. I'll have no qualms about accepting that. We were expecting Haryana to go our way and it didn't. And we are introspecting that. But what I just saw of the people the reporters from your ground asking people, and they're talking about development. They're not talking about the batenge to katenge ek hai to safe hai. They do realize that this is a doke and poke ki sarkar. When they said that they got the mandate for BJP and Shiv Sena government, they didn't take the fair route. They actually broke down 2 major regional parties, took up MLAs, or spreading was in full display. And now we have everyone. Ajit Dada is saying that he wants to be CM. Shinde's Saab saying he is the CM, Fadnavis ji is CM. So this Maharashtra has been led by three proxy CMs, and what has they given to Maharashtra? What we saw in Lok Sabha was a huge agrarian distress. This is the same party that for last three elections, they have been promising just one issue: soya-bean MSP at 6,000 rupees, and they have not yet delivered on that. We saw a ban on onion imports. We saw 17 major projects being shifted from Maharashtra to Gujarat. And when everybody talks about development, I want to remind them the fallen statue of Chhatrapati Shivaji, which fell to ground in just 8 months. And it just reeks of the corruption that is at 3 levels.
Okay.
And then
Pooja Tripathi ji, it's
No,
Chhatrapati
sir,
Shivaji
she
Maharaj,
did not interrupt you,
Chhatrapati
please.
Shivaji.
No, she didn't
Please
interrupt you.
don't
We'll hear her out.
It's
I will ask the
Chhatrapati
question,
Maharaj.
sir. Nakwaji, she didn't interrupt you. She heard you patiently.
You should answer on how in 8 months a statue that was inaugurated by Prime Minister Modi ji and your party has audacity to blame Navy for it. So you should answer on the issue that I'm raising when you.
Okay, so we are back to the statue as the biggest issue. But let me ask Pooja ji. Pooja ji, a lot of people would say that you are the one, not the BJP. You are the one who destroyed Uddhav Thackere's Shiv Sena because it was an antithetical alliance. Because of you, and Uddhav Thackeray has been unable to visit the Ram Mandir in Ayodhya, which is very strange since the Karyakartas came from the Shiv Sena when the movement began 20-30 years ago. So who's to blame? Isn't it your ideological inconsistency to blame for Eknath Shinde and company leaving?
I don't think so. Uddhav Thackeray ji is a pertinent leader, is a dominant leader in his own skin, and Congress has just proved in Lok Sabha that it came out as the largest party, and we are in an ideological alliance. We have formed an alliance to fight the divisive forces of what we saw in Maharashtra was a brutal dance on the grave of Gandhian ideology of peaceful coexistence and non-violence, from battenge kattenge to ek hai safe.
No, but are you saying that Bala Sahib Thackeray's legacy is of peaceful coexistence and non-violence?
So I am saying the India alliance is formed on the ideology of peaceful coexistence.
So where does Bala Sahib Thackeray fit into that on that radar?
The nation stands on Gandhi's shoulders. And when you bring such a violent narrative at the center of elections, and why? Yes, BJP leaders, BJP alliance partner Ajit Dada, BJP leader Ashok Chavan, BJP leader Pankaj Munde, they have been saying that this is a land of Baba Sahib Ambedkar, and this kind of provocative, this kind of violence narrative won't hold any ground. So I think BJP should go back to its books and study, and when people say they want development, they are questioning government on the 3 times urban unemployment that Maharashtra is facing. They are questioning government that crores and projects worth crores and crores of rupees. Why were they shifted from Maharashtra to Gujarat? They are asking government on the on the MSPs of onion and soya bean. They are asking government on the rural agrarian distress that's prevalent across.
Okay, well, let's not forget that that nearly half the tenure was spent with you as the third junior most party in Maharashtra. But let me try to put heads and tails with the NCP spokesperson, because I don't know if even within the party they are absolutely sure what is going on. Mahesh Chavan, so let me put this to our viewers, especially the voters who are happening to be in Baramati. Sharad Pawar's nephew versus his own nephew is going on. Last time around, Ajit Pawar left your party, was sworn in as Deputy Chief Minister. 2 days later, he was back in your party and re-sworn in as Deputy Chief Minister. 2-3 years later, he was back out of your party. What is going on with the family, sir? Why is a family fight become an electoral tamasha for the rest of us?
I think, Rishabh, BJP is responsible for all this. It is the BJP who had organized and orchestrated this so-called division and whatnot, defection and division in the family and all that. But in Baramati, if you see, with due respect to the people's opinion whom you interviewed just now, I would like to bring to your notice that irrespective of the so-called claims of development and all the efforts for polarization, people of Baramati and people of Maharashtra voted for the MVA in recent Lok Sabha elections, sending a clear message to the opposition, to the Mahayuti government. Now, in recent Lok Sabha elections, after receiving the setback, the Mahayuti government started filling the discontent of the people, and that is why on the eve of election they started resorting to tactics to mislead and appease the people of Maharashtra, and they started, bombarding with barrage of ordinances and flood of promises. But this is not going to be of any use. Ladki Behan scheme is also one of them. People of Maharashtra know it very well. So if you talk about Mr. Sharad Pawar against Mr. Ajit Pawar, I would like to tell you that Ajit Pawar so-called claims of development for last 30 years, it is against 60 years of Sharad Pawar's development. And this 30 years of Ajit Pawar's development is not only on his own, it was under the leadership and the guidance of Sharad Pawar. So this cannot be forgotten.
Mahesh ji, okay, for the sake of our viewers, I have to point out the inconsistency, sir. I'll point it out if you are being unable to. Sharad Pawar, one of the veteran political leaders of multiple generations in history of independent India, left the Congress party over Sonia Gandhi's foreign origin issue. After having left the Congress party, because of having differences with the Congress party, then allied himself with the Congress party. The man he picked to be the ground worker, his own nephew Ajit Pawar, who did all the slog on the ground. Remember, Supriya Sule was MP to Delhi, Ajit Pawar worked on the ground, has said he is leaving. It is a confusing situation full of inconsistencies, and then when a government was formed, Sharad Pawar got together with the Congress to form a government with a very hardline Shiv Sena, which was known for its Hindutva, and ran the government, to their credit, for 2-3 years. So, Mr. Chavan, I have to ask you this. Sharad Pawar has been at the fulcrum of political affairs for 60 years, as you mentioned. So, why is there underdevelopment in Baramati? Why is there underdevelopment in Maharashtra? What's he been doing for 60 years for the state?
See, out of 60 years, how many years he was in power, you know that. Secondly, whatever opportunity he got, he has done the development. This is what I said, that in Baramati, if you talk, it was 60 years of development against 30 years of development, what Ajit Dada is claiming. Secondly, as I said, I would like to repeat this, that this 30 years of Ajit Dada was also under the guidance and leadership of Sharad Pawar. You cannot forget. And whatever Maharashtra was always #1 state in everything. Like, it is the economic hub of India. It is called Mumbai is the economic hub of India. The taxes what we pay, the taxes what governments get from India, Maharashtra and Mumbai, you know, that is the majority of the share of the taxes and income of Indian government is from Maharashtra. So all this development cannot be forgotten. And secondly, people of Maharashtra now in recent years are facing a lot of problems like inflation, rising unemployment, rising atrocities against women, corruption, farmers' distress. All these things have to be addressed. People are not talking about that. People are talking about batenge to katenge and all this nonsense. So this is why we are repeating that the people.
Okay, all right, fair enough. As you've been speaking, sir, Zishan Siddiqui is casting his vote. His father, a veteran NCP leader, okay, Baba Siddiqui, brutally gunned down in Bombay just a month ago. Zishan is now with Ajit Pawar after having been with the Congress. So now let's put heads and tails. I'm going to invite my colleague Joyita and Sumit, who are, sits with us often, and let's try. Sumit Peer, now we're going to try to understand what the F is going on, because I've been trying to understand. I have lost count of who's with whom, who belongs to where. Even when the elections are cast, I don't know, Ajit Pawar might just go back. He might return to the fold. He can win both ways. I mean, if one party wins, he can be deputy chief minister. If other party wins, he can speak. Just hang a second. Let's listen to what Zishan is saying.
बाकी कहा जा रहा है कि नोट जिहाद हो रहा है, आप क्या कहते हैं?
उस पर मुझे कुछ कमेंट्स नहीं है. इलेक्शंस है, उस पर फोकस कर रहा हूँ. ज़्यादा समय नहीं है बाकी चीज़ों पे फोकस करने के लिए. आज वोट करने आया हूँ और सबको यही बोलूँगा कि आप सब वोट कीजिए.
Okay, there you have it. Now, let's put that into context. A veteran politician is pretty much in broad daylight brutally gunned down, okay, by a gang. And you think this is the biggest political issue in Maharashtra, but it wasn't, believe it or not. So, Sumit Peer, I am not understanding the politics. I am as confused for people watching in this country, who's with whom, who's not with whom. Does it make a difference? Is it all a lottery, and no matter what happens, anything is possible come 3 days from now?
I think, Rishabh ji, good morning. Always interesting to be on the election morning, broadcast. I think today, honestly, the issue is development, and the issue will be the political fortune of Uddhav Thackeray ji. Look, if he is not able to come up to a level, the alliance which he is of Maha Vikas Aghadi is going to go down. Look, Congress doesn't have much at stake. They know what they're going to do. NCP, Sharad Pawar ji is trying his best. The person who is going to make or break it out of this election is Uddhav Thackeray ji. And if he is able to pull his alliance to a substantial level, then they have a chance. If he is not able to deliver, he has already said that if I'm not able to deliver, I'll retire from the politics. So it's a great test that will the next generation or the breakaways. I mean, BJP is always there. Ajit Pawar is a breakaway from the Sharad Pawar family.
I'm sorry, but how can you say that Uddhav Thackeray and Eknath Shinde won't have a reunity party 3 days from now? And mutually convenient depending on how it goes. I mean, we can't rule out anything, which is why it's confusing. If somebody is voting for Uddhav Thackeray, who's he voting for?
I mean, as on date, he is voting for Uddhav Thackeray, but it will depend on, as exactly I told Rishabh ji, how far does Uddhav Thackeray ji do? Because look, there are issues. Development is basic. I mean, that is non-debatable. But beyond development, there is issue of Hindutva. There is issue of Hindu unity. There are some challenges which are in the society which have cropped up. There is this murder which happened. There are things like that which have cropped up, and people have been talking to your reporters, which we have been, seeing live. Hindutva, Hindu Rashtra. This is the sentiment on the ground. So it cannot be completely ignored. This cannot be completely set aside. And Uddhav Thackeray has walked away from his father's line. Let's face it. And Maharashtra is about Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. It's about Balasaheb Thackeray ji. So is Uddhav ji on that line? He is definitely not on line. He has compromised a lot. Let's see what his political fortunes are now.
Okay, Joyita, I'm trying to understand it, but I lost the understanding because 5 years ago, ladies and gentlemen, we went to sleep as journalists at night, and by the time we woke up at 7 in the morning, we were being told that the oath-taking ceremony of a Devendra Fadnavis and an Ajit Pawar, where it should have been a Devendra Fadnavis and Uddhav Thackeray, Ajit Pawar and Devendra Fadnavis oath-taking ceremony is about to happen. Okay, let's rush to work. And we did, and we saw an oath-taking ceremony take place, and then 2 days later we saw another oath-taking ceremony take place. One individual was the same, but he became Deputy Chief Minister from two sides in 2 days. This is what happened 5 years ago. It's even more confusing this time around. Joyita, for a voter in Maharashtra, other than vote for the candidate, can they predict that this candidate is going to remain with this party and this alliance?
No, they cannot. That is what happened even in the last election results, the first one. Because frankly, even I have lost track, who has gone with whom, how many times people have changed their positions. Too much drama, too much drama. The only thing that is constant in this is that, BJP and Shiv Sena, they had fought together. And obviously, it was basically, I would say, they did not go according, the people had voted for BJP Shiv Sena combined. But it didn't work out like that. Now they are on other sides. The only thing I would say, not only thing, I think a couple of things that are constant in this is that Ajit Pawar wants to be with the winning side, or whoever is ruling, Ajit Pawar wants to be there. Uddhav Thackeray wants to be Chief Minister. Now these are perhaps the only two constants in this election. Apart from that, everything is up in the air. We don't know which way things are headed. We do not know if BJP falls short, if Eknath Shinde also, you are absolutely right. I wouldn't even be surprised if the Shiv Sena comes back together either way. Okay, but yeah, as I said, if the Uddhav Thackeray decides to return to NDA fold, he will have to be made Chief Minister. So that is the constant over here. And also Ajit Pawar will also depend on what role he is given. Deputy Chief Minister is a must, whichever way he goes. So yes, if you are looking at the, so I would say for the BJP voter, for the Congress voter, I mean, they have some kind of an idea, that which party to go for. But otherwise,
okay, so let me ask the question. 5 years ago, 105 seats the BJP won, 40 odd from the others. So enough to form a government, okay? So why did the BJP say no to Uddhav Thackeray becoming chief minister in 5 years ago, and what has changed this time around that if the mathematics allows for a Shiv Sena reunity and government to be formed with the BJP, that this time they would say, Devendra Fadnavis, you waited 5 years, wait longer?
Well, the thing is, you see, the buzz at that time was that one particular leader in the BJP was very much against Uddhav Thackeray being the chief minister. And of course, the Shiv Sena was very much totally against being the, being the junior partner in the alliance. So that was the trigger. So, but at the same time, even at that time, we had heard the buzz that lots of people in the BJP were very unhappy with certain leaders in the Maharashtra unit that, that they had kept their ambitions ahead of the party's quote unquote good. Okay. So I think they have learned their lesson. In the last 5 years, the leaders concerned also have learned their lesson that it is never good to be out of power. When you are looking at something like a state like Maharashtra, think in terms of the revenue it can generate for the parties. I mean, no one, and that is why, Maharashtra battle is so high stake battle. It is ultimately about controlling the biggest, I would say, the cash-rich and industrialized state. It's all about the money that ultimately comes down to.
Yes, let's be frank. Politics is an expensive game. It requires funds to run parties. You can debate until the cows come home where the funds will come from. The politicians will never really tell you. But they do come from power, and they do come from power in big rich states, and Maharashtra is one of them. That can make you forget your ideological inconsistencies and run a stable government for several years until somebody topples it. But then the question is, why is it toppleable? What happened? How can phone calls be made? So let me get Mr. Chavan back in from the NCP SP. Mr. Chavan, why are veteran leaders of your party, the NCP as its erstwhile stood, so easy to manipulate that you claim the BJP can make a single phone call, quick chit chats, and they're ready to betray their entire history? Why are they so easy to switch over?
See, what I understand is the pressure from the BJP and the investigating agencies. This is what I can reply to your question.
Okay, so it's pressure from BJP and investigating agencies that makes people switch over and change sides. Is there then, Mr. Chavan, a possibility that they could return? And Ajit Pawar has come back to the family fold several times.
As I said, until and unless the BJP government is out of power in center, they will not think of coming back to the party, because still the investigative agencies are with the BJP government in the center.
Okay, let me get Suresh Nakwa a chance to respond to this. Suresh ji, I'm going to put the same question to you that I put to Joyita. You should have formed a government 5 years ago. You were unable to form a government primarily because Uddhav Thackeray wanted to become chief minister. If the mathematics allows, would you be okay with him as chief minister and you as junior partner?
Rishabh ji, if you remember, and you have seen Maharashtra politics for long, it was a standard principle between BJP and Shiv Sena, which was more than 30-year-old alliance. The party, whichever party has more MLAs, CM would be from that party. But suddenly, after the 2019 Assembly elections, Uddhav Thackeray was shown dreams by a so-called veteran leader of Maharashtra that you can become CM, and he backstabbed BJP. So there was no question of forming a government with a backstabbing leader. Now, just secondly, first of all, let me request Dr. Pooja Tripathi, Congress spokesperson, if you can't respect Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, please don't take his name. Requesting you, please never take Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj's name. If you can't respect,
I'll give her a chance to respond. What is your allegation? What is the disrespect you've seen?
Maharaj, Yes.
Next, you should be talking about Maharashtra. It's Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. It's not, you are not talking about somebody like Rahul Gandhi or something else. Okay, and now when Mr. Chavan was talking about betrayals and pressures and all, I mean, NCP, the original NCP, Sharad Pawarji formed with Tariq Anwar and one more leader, it was formed on the basis of betrayal, on the foreign ethnicity of Sonia Gandhi ji. So, I mean, it's not as if when Sharad Pawarji became the Chief Minister of Maharashtra for the first time, again on the basis of betrayal. And one more point, Pooja Tripathi was talking about breaking parties. I mean, Congress talking about breaking parties is something like Dawood Ibrahim preaching the virtues of non-violence. Do you remember Jharkhand Mukti Morcha? Supreme Court is revisiting the judgment. That's all I have to say.
Okay, pretty much every party in this country post-independence has emerged either from the Congress or in opposition from the Congress. That applies to Sharad Pawar, it applies to Mamata Banerjee, it applies to all of these. So that's history of the country. Has the Congress party also benefited from other parties falling apart? Yes, it has. But I'll give Pooja Tripathi a chance to respond. I'll give Mr. Chavan a chance to respond and leave the last word with Sumit. Pooja, you first.
I think Mr. Suresh should, care about Chhatrapati Shivaji's statue that was fallen due to massive corruption in his government.
It's Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. Again.
Chhatrapati Shivaji's statue
Shivaji Maharaj.
Effective. Okay. And when we talk about the mandate that was given to him, we saw the way they didn't go fair. They went on break. This is a dhoke and khoke ki sarkar, and it's standing on three very unstable. You just asked Mr. Chavan what has led the veteran leaders to shift. We have seen Chhagan Bhujbal openly admitting that he was blackmailed. Few days back, Mr. Ashok Gehlot, BJP has been out all guns blazing on him in the DTC bus tender scam, and then he went into Bharatiya Janata Party and he comes out all clean. Bharatiya Janata Party should be the last party who should talk about ethics, morals and the politics, because the moment Prime Minister Modi was saying कि ये 10,000 crore का आदमी Ajit Pawar, 2 days later Ajit Pawar takes oath as the Deputy CM of Maharashtra and he's all clean. This is Bharatiya Janata Party.
Okay, and of course the Congress is in alliance with Lalu Prasad Yadav.
Get your facts right.
Okay.
Ashok Gehlot is still in Congress.
I'll be the cynical person of all politicians. The Congress, of course, is in alliance with Lalu Prasad Yadav. Heck, Arvind Kejriwal, the anti-corruption campaigner, was in alliance with Lalu Prasad Yadav, one of the rare few convicted of corruption in this country. Okay.
Cash and politics. We saw yesterday Jayant Sathe, he was nabbed with cash money in Nasik. We saw Vinod Tavade.
So are all politicians covered in hypocrisy? Yes, they are. But that doesn't answer our question. It doesn't answer our question. Okay. Let me go back to Mahesh Chavan. Mahesh ji, the NCP SP is not going to emerge as the single largest party come what may in 3 days from now. You will need allies. Are you open to anybody being your ally?
No, it would be decided by the MVA, not by NCP alone. So whatever the MVA factions they will decide, we will go by that. And secondly, basically, we'll try to stick to our ideologies, and our main intention or target would be there should not be any presidential rule, because we have got only 3 days to form the government after the results. Before 26th or 27th of November, we should form the government.
Okay, just for a record, for a lot of people who are critics of Narendra Modi and say dictator and this and that, you can do your own research on how many times presidential rule has been invoked in the past 11 years versus the past 30 before that. And you'll find that other than a change that happened in Kashmir, it's near zero. I'll leave the last word with Sumit. Sumit, it is chaotic. But have we seen a broad theme? This is the first election that I'm seeing in which Narendra Modi doesn't seem to be the issue. It seems to be a chaotic, every person for himself kind of fight.
I think it is still, Rishabh ji, mostly around development. That is the plank of Narendra Modi ji. And I wanted to clarify one thing. Pooja ji said that development has not happened in Maharashtra. Ma'am, in last 2.5 years, $60 billion of GDP is added in Maharashtra. That is more than the GDP of Jharkhand, and that is around 60% of the GDP of Punjab. So if you think development has not happened, nothing is happening, no, that is not the case. Development with dharma is the new brand of Rajniti. You like it or you don't like it.
Yeah.
You can all the things about batege, cutting and all, but that is what matters to the people at the ground. So development and dharma, we want both. We
Okay,
don't want
but you know, Mumbai, now the second richest city in India, because Delhi's overtaken Mumbai in the last few years. If you visit there, other than, you know, the Bandra Kurla complex and the new, you know, sea links that are being built, Mumbai is, look at the trains, look at the flooding, look at the traffic chaos. So if you were telling Mumbaikars that development is happening, they are seeing the promises of development, because every corner in Mumbai is a construction zone where something is being built, but they're not seeing it happen at pace. So is there frustration? I'm sure there is. I don't live there, but I visit there often, and I'm sure there is. We take a break. See you in a minute.